Did you know that millions of people in Canada could face deportation in the next few years? That's right, Canada, known worldwide as a welcoming country for immigrants, is now planning a major shift in its immigration policy for 2025. The government is cracking down, prioritizing stricter enforcement and reducing the number of newcomers allowed in. For many, this could mean the dream of living, working, or studying in Canada is suddenly at risk. Experts are warning that these changes aren't just minor tweaks. They could affect anyone who isn't fully compliant with their visa, work, or study permits. Even people who have been living in Canada for years might find themselves under scrutiny. Imagine thinking you're secure in your life here, only to discover that the rules have changed and your future is suddenly uncertain. So, what's really behind this massive policy shift? Why now? And most importantly, who exactly is at risk? And what can you do to protect yourself? Stay with us until the end, because in this video, we'll break down 10 shocking reasons why Canada could deport millions in 2025 and what it could mean for you. Number 1. Lowering permanent resident targets. Canada has just announced that for 2025, it will significantly reduce the number of permanent residents it plans to admit. This isn't just a small cut. These numbers mark one of the lowest targets in recent years. The government says it's aiming to better manage integration and public services, but for prospective immigrants, this could mean fewer opportunities and much stiffer competition. People who are planning to move to Canada may now face longer waits, stricter requirements, or even the possibility of having their applications delayed indefinitely. The reasoning behind this policy is tied to the pressure on housing, healthcare, and local infrastructure. Canada has welcomed record numbers of newcomers in the past few years, but with so many arrivals, cities are struggling to provide affordable housing and essential services. By lowering permanent resident intake, officials hope to slow population growth to a more manageable pace. This also signals a shift toward prioritizing economic and skilled workers already in Canada, rather than opening doors widely to new arrivals from abroad. For anyone planning to move, this policy change means preparation is more important than ever. Applications need to be complete, accurate, and submitted as early as possible. Skills, language proficiency, and educational credentials will be scrutinized more closely, so improving your profile can make the difference between approval and rejection. For families, it's also wise to consider alternative pathways, such as temporary work or study permits, which could later transition into permanent residency. Understanding these changes now could save years of uncertainty and stress down the road. Number 2. Reducing temporary resident volumes. Canada is also planning to cut back the number of temporary residents, including international students and temporary workers, over the next few years. The government has made it clear that the aim is to bring these numbers down to a more manageable level by 2026. For many people, this could mean fewer opportunities to study, work, or gain experience in Canada before applying for permanent residency. Students who are hoping to come to Canada for education may find spots more competitive, while temporary workers could face stricter eligibility rules or limited program options. The reasoning behind this reduction is closely tied to pressure on housing, social services, and local job markets. Cities like Toronto, Vancouver, and Montreal have seen a surge in temporary residents, causing rent to skyrocket and public resources to stretch thin. By reducing the number of temporary entrants, the government hopes to ease these pressures while also giving priority to those who are already contributing to the Canadian economy. This policy marks a significant shift, signaling that Canada is no longer prioritizing rapid population growth but focusing on sustainable integration for those already inside the country. For anyone planning to come to Canada temporarily, this change means it's essential to plan carefully and follow the rules strictly. Maintaining proper documentation, meeting visa requirements, and understanding program limits will be more important than ever. Those considering studying or working in Canada should explore alternative pathways, such as programs in smaller provinces, which may be less affected by these cuts. Being proactive now can mean the difference between securing a temporary status or facing delays, denials, or even the risk of being asked to leave the country. Preparation and awareness are your best defense under these new rules. Number 3. Increased deportation enforcement. One of the most alarming changes in Canada's 2025 immigration policy is the intensification of deportation and removal enforcement. The government is pledging to spend tens of millions of dollars to increase removals of individuals who are in the country without valid status, have overstayed visas, or have had their applications rejected. For millions of people, this is not just a policy shift, it's a potential threat to their everyday life in Canada. Even those who thought they were safe because they have been living or working in the country for years may suddenly find themselves under scrutiny, with the risk of being forced to leave. This stricter enforcement comes as part of a broader effort to ensure compliance with immigration laws and protect public resources. Over the past few years, Canada experienced a surge in temporary residents, refugee claimants, and individuals living without proper documentation. Authorities now aim to send a clear message. Anyone failing to meet legal requirements will face consequences. This includes individuals in irregular status, those who have missed renewal deadlines, or anyone whose case has been denied but remains in the country. The reality is that the government is prioritizing enforcement over leniency, making it more critical than ever to stay fully compliant. For anyone currently in Canada, the practical takeaway is clear. Keep your paperwork up to date, understand your legal obligations, and seek professional guidance if needed. Ignoring these changes could lead to serious consequences, including detention or forced removal. Even minor oversights, like expired permits or incomplete documentation, could trigger enforcement action under the new policies. Staying informed, proactive, and fully compliant is no longer optional. It's essential for anyone hoping to remain in Canada safely. Number 4. Focus on in-Canada applicants. Another significant shift in Canada's 2025 immigration policy is the priority being given to applicants who are already living in the country. This means that individuals who are working, studying, or temporarily residing in Canada now have a much higher chance of being accepted for permanent residency compared to newcomers applying from abroad. The government is emphasizing that integration and contribution to the Canadian economy are key factors in determining eligibility. For people hoping to immigrate from outside Canada, this could translate into longer wait times, tougher competition, and stricter evaluation criteria. The reasoning behind this change is tied to Canada's desire to maximize the benefits of those already contributing locally. People already living in Canada are easier to assess, more likely to have established networks, and are already contributing economically and socially. By focusing on in-country applicants, Canada aims to streamline the immigration process and improve success rates, while reducing the uncertainty associated with processing applications from abroad. This is a major change from previous years, when overseas applicants had a more balanced chance of approval. For those considering immigration, this policy highlights the importance of strategic planning and legal pathways. Temporary work permits, student visas, or other lawful statuses in Canada could now be the most viable routes to permanent residency. Applicants must ensure they are fully compliant with their current status, maintain strong employment or educational records, and be aware that program requirements may change rapidly. By positioning yourself within Canada legally, you improve your chances of approval and reduce the risk of being left out under the new policy framework. Staying informed and proactive has never been more critical. Number 5. Pressure on housing and services. One of the driving forces behind Canada's 2025 immigration changes is the intense pressure on housing, healthcare, and social services. Cities like Toronto, Vancouver, and Montreal have seen rents and property prices skyrocket due to a surge in population, much of it from newcomers. Hospitals and schools are also struggling to keep up with demand, creating long wait times and overcrowding. The government is clear: to maintain a sustainable and high-quality standard of living, it needs to slow the pace of immigration and ensure that those entering the country can be properly supported. This pressure has led policymakers to prioritize manageable population growth, focusing on regions where infrastructure and services can accommodate newcomers more effectively. Areas that are already densely populated may face stricter entry requirements or reduced intake, while smaller provinces or cities may be encouraged to attract newcomers. By linking immigration targets to local capacity, Canada aims to avoid overwhelming public systems and to provide a better experience for both residents and newcomers. For prospective immigrants, this means that where you choose to settle is now as important as your qualifications. For anyone planning to move to Canada, understanding this reality is crucial. Those targeting major cities need to be prepared for higher living costs and competitive rental markets, while newcomers willing to move to less crowded areas might find better opportunities for integration, affordable housing, and local support services. Planning ahead, researching cities and provinces, and considering smaller or less popular regions can make a big difference in your ability to settle successfully. In 2025, the ability to adapt to Canada's regional realities could determine whether your immigration journey succeeds or faces unexpected challenges. If you're finding this breakdown helpful, drop a comment below with your thoughts or questions. We read every single one. We've put a lot of effort into making this video for you. So hit that subscribe button. It's just one click. And stay updated on all our latest insights. Number 6. Shift toward economic and Francophone immigration. Canada's 2025 immigration policy is placing a much stronger emphasis on economic immigration and attracting Francophone newcomers outside Quebec. The government plans to prioritize applicants who can fill labor shortages, bring specialized skills, or contribute directly to the economy. This means that family-sponsored immigrants or those applying through humanitarian streams may face longer waits and stricter evaluation, while skilled workers with in-demand professions will have a better chance of approval. For prospective immigrants, this is a signal that job skills, work experience, and language proficiency are more important than ever. The focus on Francophone immigration is part of a broader strategy to strengthen French-speaking communities outside Quebec, encouraging newcomers to settle in regions that have struggled to attract population growth. Applicants fluent in French or willing to learn may find exclusive opportunities and faster processing times. At the same time, this shift signals that Canada is moving away from a purely numerical immigration approach, instead prioritizing quality, regional balance, and integration potential. For those planning to immigrate, this policy means that investing in skill development, language training, and targeted regional plans can greatly improve chances of success. For anyone considering immigration in 2025, the practical takeaway is clear: economic value and linguistic skills matter more than ever. Studying in a high-demand field, gaining professional experience, or learning French could directly impact eligibility and processing speed. Family reunification or humanitarian applications are still possible, but may require more patience and preparation. Understanding this shift early can help applicants tailor their strategy, choose the right immigration stream, and maximize their chances of securing a future in Canada under the new policy framework. Being informed and proactive is no longer optional. It's essential for success. Number 7. Stricter asylum and refugee rules. Canada is tightening its asylum and refugee policies, making it harder for new claimants to secure permanent residency. The government has introduced stricter eligibility criteria and is expanding the grounds on which claims can be rejected. For those who are hoping to seek refuge in Canada, this means higher chances of denial and an increased risk of removal. Even people who previously believed Canada offered a safe, long-term option for refugees may now face uncertainty, as the government focuses on ensuring that only those meeting strict legal standards are allowed to stay. The reasoning behind these stricter rules is multifaceted. Canada wants to streamline the refugee process, reduce backlogs, and ensure claims are legitimate, while also protecting public resources and social services. Over the past few years, the number of asylum claims has surged, putting pressure on the system and creating longer wait times. By enforcing stricter rules, the government intends to balance humanitarian support with practical capacity, but for prospective claimants, this shift represents a significant challenge. The policy sends a clear message: Canada is now prioritizing efficiency and legality over broad access. For anyone considering seeking asylum, preparation and awareness are critical. Legal representation, accurate documentation, and a clear understanding of timelines and requirements are now more important than ever. Ignoring these changes could lead to claim rejection, deportation, or prolonged legal uncertainty. Those currently in Canada under refugee status should stay informed about policy updates and maintain full compliance with their current status, as even minor oversights could have serious consequences. Understanding the new rules and acting proactively can make the difference between a secure future in Canada and facing unexpected challenges under the stricter 2025 framework. Number 8. Political climate and public opinion. Canada's 2025 immigration policy is also being shaped by the current political climate and public opinion. Recent surveys show that many Canadians are concerned about housing shortages, job competition, and the strain on public services caused by rapid population growth. In response, the government is taking a more cautious approach, emphasizing manageable immigration levels and stricter enforcement. This shift reflects a desire to balance humanitarian commitments with the expectations and concerns of Canadian citizens, signaling that immigration is no longer purely about numbers but also about public acceptance and societal sustainability. The political motivation behind these changes is clear. By responding to voter concerns, the government aims to maintain trust while ensuring that immigration policies are perceived as fair and responsible. Lawmakers are emphasizing integration, economic contribution, and regional settlement patterns over unrestricted entry. For prospective immigrants, this means that the approval process may now include additional scrutiny, and policies could shift quickly in response to public sentiment. Understanding the political backdrop is essential for anyone navigating Canada's immigration system in 2025, as rules and priorities may change unexpectedly. For applicants, the practical lesson is to stay informed and adaptable. Immigration pathways may favor those who are highly skilled, legally present in Canada, or willing to settle in regions where local support is stronger. Monitoring policy updates, maintaining legal status, and preparing for stricter evaluation criteria can help minimize risks. Public opinion and political priorities now play a significant role in shaping who can enter and remain in Canada. Being proactive, aware, and strategically prepared is critical for anyone hoping to secure a successful future under these new rules. Those who ignore these shifts may find themselves caught off guard by stricter enforcement or changing requirements. Number 9. Global migration pressure. Canada's immigration policy for 2025 is also being shaped by global migration trends and international pressures. In recent years, worldwide conflicts, economic crises, and population movements have increased the number of people seeking to enter Canada. While Canada has historically welcomed newcomers, these global pressures have created challenges for border management, visa processing, and refugee claims. The government is now focusing on controlling inflows more carefully to ensure that immigration is sustainable and that resources are available to those who are admitted. This global context has led to stricter entry requirements and more scrutiny of applicants from certain regions. Canada has agreements with other countries, such as the U.S., to manage refugee claims and return individuals where appropriate. Additionally, the rise of undocumented migration and overstays has prompted authorities to strengthen border checks and verify documentation more rigorously. For prospective immigrants, this means that applications from abroad may face longer processing times, increased verification, and higher rejection rates if any discrepancies are found. The policy reflects a clear message. Canada will prioritize legal and controlled migration over rapid, unregulated entry. For those planning to immigrate in 2025, the key takeaway is to be fully prepared and transparent. Ensure all documents are accurate, meet visa requirements, and comply with any specific regional or program restrictions. Staying informed about global migration trends and how they influence Canada's policies can help applicants anticipate changes and avoid unexpected setbacks. Being proactive, compliant, and strategic has never been more critical, as the global migration environment is shaping Canada's rules, enforcement, and priorities in ways that could directly impact your chances of entering or staying in the country. Number 10. Legal mechanisms and removal pathways. Canada's 2025 immigration policy is also strengthening the legal mechanisms and removal pathways used to enforce immigration rules. This includes tools like security certificates, stricter inadmissibility criteria, and enhanced border enforcement measures. Even individuals who currently have legal status in Canada could face challenges if found in violation of immigration laws, involved in criminal activity, or deemed a security risk. These mechanisms give authorities more power to detain and remove individuals quickly, making compliance with the law absolutely critical for anyone hoping to stay in Canada long-term. The expansion of legal enforcement tools is part of a broader government strategy to ensure that immigration benefits those who meet the country's standards. Over the years, concerns over unauthorized stays, misrepresented claims, or criminal involvement have driven policymakers to tighten legal frameworks. By creating clearer and more enforceable pathways for removal, Canada aims to protect its immigration system and public resources, while sending a warning to those who might attempt to bypass rules. For prospective immigrants, this means that even minor mistakes or misunderstandings could lead to serious consequences, including detention or deportation. For anyone living in Canada or planning to move there, the practical advice is straightforward. Stay fully compliant with all immigration laws, maintain accurate documentation, and understand the rules of your specific status. Consulting accredited immigration professionals, keeping records of employment, residence, and legal compliance, and avoiding any activity that could trigger inadmissibility is essential. The government's strengthened legal mechanisms are a clear signal that Canada will no longer tolerate loopholes or delays in enforcement, and being proactive is the best way to safeguard your future in the country. In 2025, understanding and navigating these pathways could mean the difference between a secure life in Canada and facing unexpected legal consequences. Canada's 2025 immigration policy represents one of the most significant shifts in recent history, and its impact will be felt by millions. From lower permanent resident targets to stricter asylum rules, and from the focus on in-Canada applicants to the strengthening of legal removal mechanisms, the message is clear: Canada is prioritizing controlled, sustainable, and compliant immigration. These changes are driven by pressures on housing, healthcare, social services, and the political landscape, as well as global migration trends. For prospective immigrants, temporary residents, and even long-term residents, this means that staying informed, prepared, and legally compliant is more important than ever. Each of the 10 reasons we explored highlights a critical factor that could affect your ability to move to or remain in Canada. Whether it's adapting to the shift toward economic and Francophone immigration, understanding stricter enforcement, or navigating global pressures, the key takeaway is that knowledge, planning, and action are your best tools. By being proactive, applicants can avoid surprises, improve their chances of success, and secure a safe and stable future in Canada. The 2025 policies are not just numbers on a page. They are real, impact-filled changes that could alter lives. For anyone thinking about immigrating, studying, or working in Canada, the time to act is now. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and approach every step with care. These policies are complex, but with preparation, awareness, and legal compliance, it's still possible to achieve your goals and make Canada your home. We've put a lot of effort into breaking down these complex changes for you, so your support really matters. If this video helped you, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. It's just one click. Drop a comment below and let us know how these changes might affect you, or what questions you have about Canada's immigration policies. Your feedback keeps us going and helps us create even more valuable content for you.